We have new episodes dropping every other week. You can find them early on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, or wherever you find your podcasts, or find the link below for our Megaphone landing page, and we will see you around the campfire.
Hey, I'm Jess,
And I'm Paul.
and welcome to Campfire Ashes. Now gather round, pull up a log, and let me tell you a campfire story. Let me tell you about this crazy dream that I had the other night. Me and a friend, I guess, we'll call her Kara, because I've never seen this person before in my life, but she was just there. We were in this small canoe, just paddling rapidly along this winding river. No idea where we were. It didn't look familiar at all. And as we were paddling, it just kept getting darker and darker. The sun set over the trees when we entered this strange canal type thing where the river got smaller, and this dense fog was rolling in around us. I choked on this thick fog when I tried asking her if she could see anything ahead of us, since she was in front and I was in the back. And then after I had a coughing fit, she called back to me. Okay, this is weird, but there's a dock up ahead. I couldn't see anything at this point, so I just took her lead and I kept paddling until I could see this rickety dock overgrown with vines and flowers. It was crazy because like the atmosphere was unsettling, but these flowers overgrowing on this island were just so pretty. For whatever reason, Kara thought it would be a great idea to get out of the canoe and hop up on this dock, and I just decided I was going to follow her, no questions asked, despite many questions rattling around in my head. So we're walking. And the farther along that we walked, the less and less I could see of her because this thick fog was just not letting up. It was sticky and encapsulating. Like I felt like I was swimming through the air trying to push this stuff out of my way with my hands. That thick. The first thing I caught any sight of was this rundown shack covered in those vines and flowers from before. At least I think that's what was covering it because that damn fog was coating everything. So I kept walking and I'm trying to call out to Kara when I caught something in the corner of my eye, and I whipped my head around, and to my right, there was a stake poking out of the ground with those flowers and those vines, and a creepy doll poked right through the top. It had a porcelain-looking head, cracked in one eye, and the body was like this cotton plush material that was coming apart at the seams, and it had no hair. I hate dolls in real life. I hate them. But I guess in dreams, like I'm just not scared of it for whatever reason because I didn't immediately take off running in the opposite direction. I just kept walking. Don't know why. And the farther along that I got, the more and more dolls on stakes popped up in all different varieties like of decay and some of them looked like super old, like those dolls that have no faces that like Amish people would make. And then some of them looked more modern, like Barbies or those ones that you talk to if they have batteries and they would talk back to you. But like, I hate those. So anyway, none of them spoke to me. And I didn't really seem to be frightened of them. More than anything, I think I was just annoyed by this fog and the fact that my friend or whoever she was ran off and I couldn't find her because if there's one thing about me, it's that I don't like being taken somewhere unfamiliar and then left alone. So I'm definitely going to be annoyed about it when it's some weird foggy island that we just happened upon. But after walking what felt like an eternity, no end or this supposed friend in sight, I finally started seeing more land and water, and maybe this was the other side of the island that we'd stumbled upon, or I don't know, but I could hear this laughter. So I'm thinking to myself, that must be Kara. I haven't seen or heard from her this whole time, and the fog is kind of letting up here, so maybe she found something useful. So as I'm walking toward her, I'm like, hey, what's so funny? What did you find? And instead of getting an answer from my friend, I'm hearing this laughter get louder and louder, like it's echoing off the walls of this fog surrounding me. It's really giving me the heebie jeebies at this point, and my skin feels like it's crawling. I'm getting so uncomfortable. So at this point, I'm running toward this clearing in the fog, and it's one of those sensations like you're running and you're running, but it seems like you're running in place because the clearing ahead doesn't seem like it's getting any closer, but it also doesn't seem like it's getting any farther. And my skin is itching so bad and my heart is racing and the laughter is booming like a thundering chorus around me and I can't even hear my own breathing, so I'm panicking until I finally reach that clearing. And in that clearing, I see a little girl standing by the water's edge. Her back is to me, and that insane laughter is gone. All I hear at this point are these soft sobs that I assume must be coming from this little girl. She's quietly saying, my doll, with her back to me. Still by the water's edge, and the bottom of her dress, now that I can see it, is wet. Like she must have tried to get her doll, but she just couldn't reach it. So I approach her and I'm like, hey, I'll get your doll for you. Where is it? And this little girl turns to me. Her face is melting off like it's waterlogged and inhuman, and she points out over the water with a finger that's so pruny it's almost just a bone. And she says, it's right there. Don't you see it? And while she's saying this, water's pouring out of her mouth, and it sounds like when you try to talk to your friend underwater in a pool as a kid, just to see if you can understand each other. But for whatever reason, Dream Me isn't afraid of this little girl, and I look where she's pointing, and I see a bunch of those flowers and vines in a thick patch in the water with what looks like this same little girl tangled between them. And right then, the laughter picks back up, but it's demonic, and I'm pushed into the water, and immediately I'm struggling with these vines, tangled up in them, and I'm trying to get out. I'm drowning, I'm gasping, and this demonic child is laughing menacingly, and as I'm struggling, I can see my arms are covered in spiders and spider bites, and right before I drown, it becomes pretty clear that the thick fog was really just layers and layers of webbing, and the whole time I was walking through spider webbing, and then I succumbed to the drowning, and then I finally woke up, and I'm just sweating.
No.
I know. Okay,
No,
so I know that's like a different...
no.
I know.
No.
I know.
No.
I know.
No.
I know.
Oh God.
And I know that I told the story in like a different format
No,
than we normally tell our stories.
I loved how you tell this story, but no.
No, well, that's the thing. Like, I know this is a different format than the way that we normally tell our stories, but like, this is a legit dream that I actually had. Like, this is a legit dream that I actually had.
Look, I would say you need therapy, but I know you're in therapy. But like, they need to. You need to.
And I see
You need to peel.
I'm on
You
multiple
need.
different medications.
Yeah, you need to peel that one back a little bit. And
Maybe I need an exorcism.
oh God.
No, I'm okay. Does this sound familiar to you at all?
It does. But see, there's so like this is feels like from the waters of Mars, a Doctor Who episode, but I know that
but good.
it sounds familiar because there's two different things. There's an Isle of Dolls in South America that's just like I have if there's a place in this world I don't want to be, that's the place. But also the girl sounds familiar. I just can't place it right now.
Oh, you really nailed it right on the head. This is the Island of the Dolls in Mexico.
I hate it
It's
so
south.
much.
It's south of the center of Mexico City.
I hate it so.
No, for
God.
real. For real. So the reason that I had this dream and I could pretty much pinpoint it is because of that Doctor Who episode, and also I was watching a BuzzFeed Unsolved episode where they covered this, and
Okay.
then like that night I ended up having a dream about this, which is why I was like, oh, I'm gonna talk about this now.
It wasn't that Destination Unknown guy from Discovery Channel, because that's where I know it from.
Oh, Josh Gates.
Yes.
I've seen that episode, but no, not recently. That's not where.
That's how I know of this thing, and I was just like, I don't think I've watched the entire episode.
I can't imagine you would. I know it's not really
because like dolls really creep out my uncanny valley response. Speaking of which, and this is off topic, and we will get back on topic, but like since I am just having this visceral reaction, have you seen Megan yet?
No.
Oh,
No.
my God.
When I saw you post in the Discord for movie night that we were watching that, I was like, no thanks, absolutely not. I'm surprised you're even watching it. No, thank you.
It's so, but okay, so from a horror movie standpoint, it's a really good movie, but the entire movie is just one long uncanny valley fight or flight response from me, and I hated every second of it, to the point where like the movie got done, and you know how you do like your little like neck like
You crack your neck
crack,
or
yeah, it cracked so loud I thought I broke my neck, and it's because I realized that the tension I was holding the entire time Like, I was clenching every muscle. Like, my whole body, like, untangled at once, and I was just like, I was dying.
Oh
Like,
my
my
god.
body my body was just dying watching that, because the facial expressions were so menacing and spot on, and
Perfect.
just so it's such a it's a really good movie. It generally
I'm
is a good
sure I'm
movie,
going to watch it.
but holy hell, man.
I
It
think it's gonna be one of those situations for me, like Smile, where it took me a while to watch it because I'm like, oh, that
Oh,
really
Smile
unnerves me.
Smile messed me up too.
Oh my
Smile was
god, me too.
good.
It was great, but yeah, it took me a while to watch it because I was like, oh no, that gets me.
Yeah, no, I hated every moment of this. It was so
Like,
bad.
okay,
It was so
there are
bad.
a lot of horror movies and games and like forms of horror media where like I can suspend my disbelief and you know, get invested in it, and then I come out of it and I'm like, oh, that was fun. That was a fun movie, you know, and I can set it aside and I can compartmentalize it and I can put it away. But there are some that I can't do that with, and it just feels too real and it feels like I'm living there. And I
Hmm.
just think that this is going to be one of those, and that's why I haven't done it yet because
Yeah,
it
for
looks
me.
like because like my doll thing, like my fear with dolls comes in two forms.
Mhm.
I'm not afraid of most dolls. I am afraid of porcelain dolls,
Yes,
and I'm afraid of those dolls that talk to you.
I
And
hate
Megan is
those
like a
too.
terrible hybrid of both of those things, and
Yes.
that's why I hate it. I'm okay with, like I'm fine with Barbies. I'm fine with dolls and of that nature. Like I'm even okay with like the ones that don't have faces. I'm even like mostly all right with the Raggedy Ann dolls, except for the one that obviously is Annabelle. But
Yeah.
I'm mostly fine with the other ones. But and like I loved Cabbage Patch Kids as a kid,
Mm.
but like yeah, Megan just looks like the amalgamation of all the things I hate about dolls.
It really was. It was. But anyway, back to this. I just like it's fresh in my head because like I just rewatched.
It's related.
So like I needed a nap on Saturday. So like I put the movie on for the Discord, and then I took a nap. So like I ended up watching it last night with Alyssa, and oh my god, I hated it so much. But it was such a good movie.
What did
It
she think about
was.
it?
Oh, she hated it too because
Good.
she has a similar response to this kind of stuff, but
Good.
she also is a like hardcore Blumhouse stan. Like she
Yeah,
loves everything that comes out of Blumhouse.
I can
Uh,
relate. Yeah,
oh
that's fair.
man, this was hated it
I
so
always knew
much.
she was good people. We've
All right,
always
so
known
so
this.
so go on with this horror
So yeah,
story
so
that is
I
the
love the dolls. Back on topic, even though that wasn't really that off topic. Um, like I said, it is located in the channels of this place that I totally can't pronounce, and I don't want to butcher it. But it's south of the center of Mexico City,
okay
and it's a popular tourist attraction for
the Yucatan
God knows
Peninsula,
what reason.
the Yucatan.
No, it starts with an X.
Let me look it up real quick
Yeah,
because I
sorry.
is it OXA? No, that's it starts with
It's
it.
XOCHIMILCO. I don't know when the X is a Z and when it's not a Z.
Uh,
What? I swear I looked at the pronunciation of this, but then we started talking about Megan and now I can't remember anything anymore. I don't know who I am anymore. I hate dolls so much.
Zaki Micho? Miko? Uh,
Sounds great.
Zak. Zak. Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, I. This, my Spanish has failed me on that one. I can't do that one.
You heard it here. I can't. You can't. Somebody
Yeah.
can.
Let's see. That it's kind of like that is not a Spanish word. That
Okay.
is an Aztec word or something like that. Like it's like you live in Pennsylvania, and like I live in New Jersey. Like Matawan is not a like that's not a Mawa is not. Those aren't like English terms. Those are just
Right, right,
Native American uh, locations that we've just stuck with,
right,
and that's what this is.
right.
But I don't know what it is.
So, apologies
It's okay. The
that
Isle
I
of
can't
Dead
pronounce it.
Dolls.
Yes. So, as I was saying, popular tourist attraction for whatever reason.
Why? Why? Why?
I
How is this?
that's what I yeah, that's what I don't get. Like so okay. So the dolls, the history behind the dolls specifically is that they were originally placed by the owner of the island.
Mhm.
Um, I want to say Julian Santana Barrera. Totally bastardized that, and I apologize, but that's his name. He died of a heart attack in 2001,
He was
and he was
murdered by his dolls. Got it.
well. Listen, so he died of a heart attack in 2001, right? And it's gonna get weirder from here, but we'll get into that. So, he owned this island starting in the 50s, as far back as I could see. Um, and the dolls just kind of started appearing on the island with like no explanation. And
I don't
there's,
like it.
yeah, like I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. So there's this legend that there's a young girl who drowned near the banks of this island because she got entangled among the water lilies in the canal. So the vines and the flowers. And this man heard her cry out that she wants her doll as she was, drowning. And I guess it was, past the point of being able to save her without also risking his own life. So terrified, he just hung the doll that he found like near her body, I guess, so that she could see it, like as she was dying, like she wanted her doll, and he was like trying to fulfill her wish.
Mhm.
Um, and then like every day since she died, when he would go outside, he'd find a new doll hanging from one of the trees from the 50s until like 2001 when he died of his heart attack. Conveniently, in the same spot near where he found her drowning.
Yes, conveniently, not at all murdered by the spirit of the girl
No,
taking
not
her
like that's
revenge.
that's a complete coincidence.
Yeah,
He lived another like 50 years after that. That's totally coincidental
because he was
that he
trapped
would
on the island.
that he would die right when that happened.
Yeah, no,
Totally crazy.
absolutely no.
Yeah. Um, and like many people, us included, believe that he died because of her, like her
Mhm.
spirit, because her spirit clearly still haunts the island. Um, but there's never been an explanation as to like where these dolls came from. They just started appearing every day since that kid drowned. Um, you know,
I
in the 50s, I
I
guess.
hate it so much.
Yeah. In 1987, an eco-tourist rescue was made, and the island was found covered in those water lilies, just covered. And it wasn't until he died in 2000, so that was 1987, right? And it wasn't until he died that this became a tourist attraction. So like I don't know if this is kind of like he'd been living there in the 50s and it's somewhere like a little remote that people don't think it's inhabited, and then like these people went out there because they saw the entire island is like covered in these vines and stuff, and then they just find this guy living there and like the place is covered in dolls, and they're like, oh, this looks terrifying,
So
I'm gonna get
actually,
out of here.
this is our lesson for today, guys. The island is actually a chinampa, or chinampa, which is
Okay.
basically it's a man-made island. So like
Okay.
this wasn't an island that like was just there in the river or in the lake. This was actually built up.
This guy just decided I want to move right here.
Well, no, it's something that they do in those river basins is to basically create like agricultural land plots where none exist.
Okay.
To basically it makes it much easier for irrigation and stuff like that because you don't have to do piping and all that kind of stuff because the water the land is always wet and everything like that. So you'll see these in marshlands and stuff like that where like it looks like, hey, that looks way a little bit more square than it should look, and that's probably because somebody built that out into a square plot to basically make it a a farmable land. So this this cursed island did not exist before. Whether or not he created the Chinampa, or he like happened upon it, like it was put there. Like it wasn't a thing that just naturally existed. Someone somewhere built that island.
And this guy was like, this looks like a perfect place to live. And then some little girl died near it. And he still chose to live there for another 50 years until he died.
Mm-hmm.
Despite all of the dolls popping up and the fact that a child died near it.
Yeah.
Not the smartest move on his part, but, you know, rest in peace, sir. So, where was I? Thank you for the lesson, because I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't until he died in 2001 that like this became a tourist attraction. Like I guess people just didn't know about
Well,
it.
I mean that's a thing. Like people
Or
don't
they
like.
did and they saw it covered in dolls and were like, goodbye.
That's true too. But like, I mean, you've heard of that place. You've heard of like it's basically like the inside of a hoarder. Like you don't know what's on the inside of that house until like the person inevitably dies, and then you walk in and it's like, oh man, this was rough. So like this was a place probably a part of the lake that nobody really frequented a lot. And then all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that was a problem.
It kind of sounds like it wasn't really frequented. It was just like this guy was living there and then he would travel to like the mainland or like the other man-made little islands to get his vegetables and do whatever, you know, live his life. And he would go drink. Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's Pulque. Is that pulque? Polk? I don't know what that is, but he used to go drink that after selling vegetables to people. And then he began preaching the Bible due to superstitions, which led to him being expelled from that sector. And then he was just, you know, on his island, not bothering anybody until he died.
Yeah, it's pulque. Pulque.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's an alcoholic beverage made from the fermented sap of an agave plant.
So like a thicker tequila, basically. Like it's like a
So
like
again,
a thick because agave is tequila because like that's
yes, which
but yeah,
I don't drink. So
viscous consistency, sour yeast taste. Why do
yeah,
you know?
it looks
It looks like it looks like something that we're not really going to mention on here, but like it looks like
there.
that.
Do with that.
We both know like telepathically we're on the same page as to what this looks like.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I know, you know.
I'm not drinking it.
Yeah, so he would go to his neighbors and drink that, and then he started preaching the Bible. And his neighbor was like, "Get out, get the fuck out."
Yeah, because if you drink that, you need Jesus. Like,
yeah, he's like, "No, you need to get out of here. I don't want anything to do with that." And then he went back to his little island and was expelled from their religion, like their sector of religion.
Oh no, my country has this also, but we call it miske. But it's the same stuff.
Well, don't drink it.
I refuse. It looks
Yeah, do not.
So it kind of looks like what the hell is it? It would we they drink it at Christmas time.
Eggnog?
No, it's Hispanic. It's
Mojito?
yes, cojito. Yeah, this kind of looks like cojito a little bit, but
Which is better,
not.
eggnog?
Yes, it's so much better. This is not. Yes, let's not confuse these two. Cojito
No,
is
no, 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 no,
good.
very much not. The
Misque
same thing.
and pulque not.
No,
No,
very
thank
much
you.
not the same thing.
This,
Not endorsing. Not here for that.
yeah, no. I am not a fan of like fermented anything, especially if it
Yeah,
has a
so
yeast taste, like
yeah, a sour yeast
sour
taste.
yeast taste. So it's
Like I
just
like
like
sour, but
it's
that's
like, hey, you want this bread that's been like waiting out here for it's kind of a little bit moldy. It's like we're gonna make that into like
a drink.
alcohol.
No, that sounds
No.
awful. Awful. Hate it. So, yes, drunk off that, preaching nonsense, gets kicked out of the church, decides he's gonna hang out on his island. Then fine, he doesn't need these people. Girl shows up near his island, gets tangled in vines, drowns. All these dolls start showing up. Randomly in the 80s, somebody shows up on that island and is like, oh, okay. So the island is covered in water lilies and dolls. I want nothing to do with that. Goodbye, sir. And they leave. And then in 2001, the owner of this island dies of a heart attack right where he had seen the girl drown. And suddenly, it becomes a tourist attraction. And everybody wants to go there and they want to see it. And I mean, like international and local channels have featured articles about it. Like the Huffington Post has talked about it. The Travel Channel,
Yeah, I've seen it
they've
for the
sent
Travel
people
Channel.
there. ABC News has sent people there. Like Ghost Adventures went there. Josh, like we were saying, he went there. Josh Gates.
Hmm.
There's an Amazon Prime show called Lore that featured this island because still there, still accessible by boat, and dolls still there, not touched. Nobody's touched them.
Who would? It's like that's like
Whoa! I mean, people have tried to remove stuff from that island.
I there is no way. I will kick you out of my house. I will kick you out of my life if you ever like try to like go get one of those dolls and try to bring it over here. Like
Yeah,
no.
no, absolutely not. BuzzFeed Unsolved, they went there, and that was what I was watching. That totally prompted the stream because one of the hosts of that show is he's a skeptic. More often than not, he doesn't
Yeah.
think that things are real, but he thinks the legends about this place are real after going there. He's like,
I mean,
yeah,
I mean
yeah.
to a point we are too. Like we like a lot of the stuff that we talk about has been kind of like we'll debunk from time to time. So like
Yeah.
it's like some of that is like yeah, that's not real. It's probably this, it's probably this, it's probably this. Kind of stuff, but like this is right on that edge of stuff like I don't know if it's real, but I'm not going to try to go there to debunk any of it. Like I'm going to take your word for it.
Oh my god, yeah, absolutely not. You could not pay me enough.
No.
There's a there's a Spanish TV comedy, and I don't know how to say the name of this, but season 1, episode 10 of the show, they left their two main characters on this island overnight, and then
Estas
rescued them
son
in the
las
morning.
mañanitas.
Yes.
I'm reading
Thanks
it
for that.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you
thanks
go.
for that.
Esas son las mañanitas.
Thank you. Yeah, season 1, episode 10 of that show, they left the main characters on that island
Oh
overnight.
hell no.
No. No, absolutely not.
Yeah, the episode was nosotros los guapos,
Absolutely not.
which is basically we're the handsome guys.
Oh, cool. But no, no thanks. Do not leave me on that island.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
Nosotros los Guapos is the name of the show. The Estas son las mañanitas is the
Is the
episode name, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I'm learning.
Yeah. This
I didn't have to take language classes growing up.
I
I
mean,
wanted to, but they didn't offer them where I went.
it's the little bit of time that I can actually like speak Spanish. It's like I'll give you a proper pronunciation where
I
I
knew I could
can,
count on
because like
you.
like the once you start getting into the indigenous wording, that's where I get lost, because like that's technically not Spanish, so I can't. Don't fault
Like,
me for
well,
not being able to get that.
right?
There's a lot in Mexico that's like that. There's a ton of it in central Mexico. They're just like, why don't you know how to say this word? I'm like, because that's not Spanish.
No, that's like
Like
that derives from what? Like Aztecs?
Aztec, Olmec, Mayan, like it's all
Yeah, there's a
all
lot
all in
going on
that
there.
river basin area.
Thank
Like
God. Yeah.
the more north you get, it's more Aztec, but like once you get into that like river basin, then there's like it's a muddle of everything. There's like
Well, that's
two or
pretty
three
neat.
different places that had that kind of stuff.
Pretty cool. Yeah, so absolutely not endorsing this, not condoning this, but if you're an adult, live your own life. If you wanted to go visit this place for whatever reason, it's only accessible by boat.
Well, yeah, because it's Chinapas or
Hmm.
Chinampa. So yeah,
Yes.
it's already an island.
And there are most rowers are willing to take you there, but there are people that would refuse because of superstition, which I
Like
can't
me.
blame them.
I mean, if I
Yeah,
live that area, there's no way in hell you're paying me to
absolutely
take
not.
that.
No, I don't blame people for being superstitious about it. But if you do decide to travel there for whatever reason, in addition to hundreds of dolls, the island also contains a small museum. It has articles from local newspapers about the island and the owner. I guess there's a store. I don't know who comes here and like runs this museum, but like, no, thank you.
Dude, you couldn't
Uh,
pay me. You could not pay me to run that.
no, for real. I don't understand. I don't understand like the appeal of this place whatsoever. But to each their own.
That'd be like a gift shop at the Warren Museum. It's like I'm not going there. Like
Exactly.
like
Like, what? What could you possibly be buying? That's what I don't get. Um,
I don't
but you could also
I
see the first doll that was collected.
I don't want anything from this island. Like
Oh
you
man,
couldn't pay me to bring back even a picture.
you're gonna
Like
pay me to go.
even taking a picture for the thumbnail for this episode is creeping me out.
Yeah, it's a lot,
Like I hate it so much.
right? Um, but you could see the first doll that was collected, and you could see the previous owner's favorite doll. Um, and some visitors place offerings around the dolls in exchange for miracles and blessings, and then some others go as far as to change their clothes, and they maintain the place as a form of worship.
No.
And I don't know who's worshiping that or for what reason or for why, and I don't know why you think offering anything in exchange for a miracle or a blessing would come from this place, but to each their own.
That's a hard pass.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Hard
This
pass.
is this is 100% somewhere I never actually want to go, and I haven't even been there, and I already had a terrifying dream about it. So that is the Island of the Dolls in Mexico. Visit at your own risk.
Yeah, go say
You
hi to
go,
Augustinita, which is the
the favorite doll.
the favorite doll. Hell no.
Um,
And
if you
yeah,
go ever, or if you've been, like, write in, let us know. I would love to hear about it.
yeah,
'Cause I'm never going.
yeah. I'm never going at all.
So I'd love to hear about your experiences if you've been.
Yeah, never going to happen. That's never happening.
No, no, no.
Oh God,
Never. Could not pay me.
no.
I'd rather eat my own foot.
Yeah, I will hobble around on one foot before I before you catch me in this island.
Or eat my own foot raw, unseasoned. And remember, last one out douses the fire. If you heard something, no, you didn't. And if you're here with us next time, that means you made it to morning.